Good afternoon, everyone. Great to see you all. Welcome to seminar 7 and 8. So let us start. Before we start, let me just paste the QR code for you so that you can register your attendance. Here is the QR code link. So this is seminar 7 and 8. We will have 2 activities today. Let us kickstart our seminar. Welcome all. Great to see you all, everyone. Okay, so this is seminar 7 and 8. Before we start, let us go over each of the seminar activities that we have done up to now. So you will need to attach each of them to your portfolio. You will need to finish them if you haven't done so. In seminar 1, we have done the time management grid worksheet. You will submit that worksheet for seminar 1. For seminar 2, you will attach your personal and professional development plan, whichever format is fine. Whichever format you choose, it is fine. Just submit one of them. In seminar 3, you have created your top 10 employable skills evidence table. You'll attach this table as well as your seminar 3 activity. In seminar 4, you created your own personal branding canvas, so you will be attaching this as your seminar 4 activity. In seminar 5 last week, you have applied the GIP cycle of reflection to a critical incident, so you will attach this handout worksheet of the GIP cycle. And in seminar 6, you have created evidence table for your self-directed learning activities, which might be anything that excited you and inspired you. Turn them into a table. And in seminar 7 today, we will be doing the flower exercise. That will be our seminar 7 activity. And seminar 8 activity will be an optional table. That means you will be choosing among 6 options. We will go over each of them and you will make your choice today. So here is our agenda. We will finish seminar 7 and 8 activities today, the flower exercise and the optional table. So let's start with the flower exercise. Yes, Tusnaki, you will submit all of them, but the deadline is November 13th, I think. So you will submit everything along with your portfolio, yeah? And you can find the details of this portfolio on your module handbook assessment part. So this activity, flower exercise, it is taken from this bestseller book, which is called What Color is Your Parachute? This is a bestseller on job hunting and career management. It has sold more than 10 million copies worldwide. So it is truly a great book. We will be focusing on the flower exercise from this book. But before we start that, this book is a great investment in your career, especially if you are hunting for jobs. It gives you a lot of practical insights and tools on your job applications. For example, normally individuals go from the bottom to the up, the book says, and it is true. You know, you start with your resumes, but resume is the last resort when it comes to filling a vacancy for employers. So how do employers typically prefer to fill their vacancies? They start from the top. Number 1, what is it? First, they promote somebody that they already know, who is already working in that organization. So they just promote a person that they already know. That if you are a good intern, you have shown your value and they want to hire you as a full-time employee, okay? Because they already know you. So your first task should be putting your foot in the door and then prove your worth. Number 2, if it doesn't work, then they look at the portfolio of skills that you can bring. If you are a creative person, let's say, they look at your creative portfolios to see what you are capable of. Number 3, they ask their friends, colleagues, or networks. Do you know somebody that we can trust and work with? Number 4, then they use an agency. And then number 5, they place a job advertisement. And then the last resort is a resume. As you can see, like if you want to increase your prospects of job applications and be successful, you need to start from the top and go towards the bottom. Okay, so let's start with the flower exercise. In a nutshell, this is a self-assessment to help you figure out what type of career or work is most appropriate for you. The questions take the form of petals on a flower. These are the petals. Each petal addresses a different domain. And in each one, there are some questions. You can see the questions here. In each part, you will be responding to these questions to figure out what your ideal job or career looks like. Okay, and that is your Seminar 7 activity. Let us start. These are the sections. These are all in your slides. You can download these slides. Go to Fall 2020 Seminar section, and you can download the slides, but also download the worksheet. Flower exercise worksheet is there. Please download it as well. You will be working on it now. I want you to go over each section and type up your answers, responses. So you will start with geography, and then salary, compensation, your position, favorite working conditions, work goals, favorite people, your sectors, transferable skills. So we will complete these 7 parts in the next 10 minutes or so. Okay. So in order to complete this, please find this document. The document is called Flower Exercise Worksheet. Flower Exercise Worksheet. So please find this and download this. And you will be working on it now. Okay. Work on this Word document now. There are 2 ways to go about it. So you can either type up the boxes here on this flower. For example, geography, what are your top considerations? You can put them as bullet form, and you can do this for all the boxes here on the flower. You can directly type them up. But for some of you, it might be awkward, so maybe it doesn't fit these circles, these boxes. So there is a second option here. You can also just type in your answers in this Word document. So let's start with the geography now. Where do you want to live and work in? I want you to list top factors that describe where you would like your dream job to be located in. Okay. So do you prefer cold weather or warm weather? Do you prefer big city or small town? Do you prefer near the beach, forest, or the mountain? Are there any ideal cities and countries you would like to work in? Please type up your answers. You can overwrite these as well, as you wish. Okay, what are the top considerations? Are there places that you would like to work in? Please type these up and work on your worksheet. Think about ideal locations that you want to work in. But also consider the implications of what you need to do if you want to, let's say, move there, live there. Let's say you want to work in Paris and live in Paris. Then you need to consider the implications and what you need to, for example, you need to improve your French. Otherwise, you'll end up like Emily in Paris and it will be an embarrassment. Okay, so like consider the implications. And type up your responses quickly. Please wrap this up in the next 30 seconds. Okay, let's continue with the next part, number 2, the second petal. Salary, compensation, and position. Please respond to the following questions. Which position do you wish to start at? What will be your job title, let's say? And your level of responsibility. Do you want to manage another person, let's say? Do you want some managerial responsibility? Do you want to manage a budget, a project, etc.? And what is your target annual salary? Please put the whole amount here, which includes the taxes. Okay. And put the target monthly salary, which doesn't include the taxes. So think about what you would receive in a month. Okay. So you might say, for a monthly salary, as a starting salary, I would like to secure, let's say, £2,000, whereas for the annual salary, my goal is, 28,000, whatever. And then you can also put your progression. For example, I would like to, in a few years, I would like to continue to 30,000 and then climb up to 40,000 in my career trajectory. You can specify these as well. Type of whatever comes to you. Okay? And remember, this is like your basis. Salary is your basis. Think of it as the basis that you can put things on top of. Think of it as the foundation. You can always find additional sources of income, for example. Can you do, let's say, some online work, Fiverr? We live in the gig economy, Uber, Airbnb, etc., or any other means. Maybe you can kickstart some ways of passive income or some side hustles. Perhaps you can kickstart your entrepreneurial project. Create some assets which will bring you income. So think about how you can do these things. Maybe you will do some, let's say, private tutoring, etc. Additional, what could be ways of additional income, let's say. Okay, so please type up your responses and finish this up in the next 30 seconds. Okay, let's move on to the third part now. Your favorite working conditions. What are your preferable working conditions? Indoors or outdoors? Stay in one place or travel a lot? Do you want prescribed hours, 9 to 5, or flexible hours? Do you want to work alone or as part of a team? Do you want more autonomy or structure? Let's say, do you want to continue working from home, like the continuation of this COVID lockdown? Conditions, online work from home, or would you like to go back to your office, let's say? So consider all these factors and type them in. Please try to wrap this up in the next 40 seconds. Okay, let's move on to the next section, work goals and interests. This section is about your idealism, your values, your moral philosophy, your spirit, like your calling. What are your passions? So I want you to, there are 7 things here. I want you to rank them. If it is not relevant to you, you can also erase them. If it is not relevant, you can erase some of these, or you can just rank all of these. Which one is number 1? Put it at the top and say number 1 is my top priority is, let's say, working with what? What is your number 2 priority? So please rank them, okay? In the next 1 minute. Okay, please try to wrap this up. Okay, shall we move on? Let's move on to the next part. Your favorite people. In this part, you will be reflecting on what type of people you would like to work with. So there are some characteristics and adjectives in this table. Let's say, do you want to be surrounded by, let's say, calm people, appreciative people, charismatic people, competent people, etc., creative people? So think about the organizational environment and the organizational culture you would like to be embedded in. What type of people do you want around you? Think about the favorite people that you like working with. Try to choose 5 to 7 of these and please type these up. Let's say appreciative. You can just type these up and make your list. Okay. Adapted, having fun, empathetic. What else? Like, which ones are really more appealing? What type of people do you want around you? Okay, so please choose 5 to 7 of these and write them down. And also try to explain your choices in one sentence or 2. Why did you choose these characteristics, let's say? What is your philosophy? Let's say, or like, why do you think you prefer these type of people around you? Try to justify in a sentence or 2. please make your choices, choose from the table, write them down in the next 1 minute. Of course, this has huge implications. Let's say if you want to work in an environment like McKinsey consulting company, let's say you know that you will be surrounded by other very ambitious, very smart people, and they are very competitive at McKinsey. You know that, right? So like when you are choosing your careers or your organizations, you are also choosing the kind of people that you would like to work with in a way. Okay, so please wrap this up. If you have finished choosing your adjectives, write a sentence or two explaining your choices. Please wrap it up. Okay, let's move on to the next part, which is your field, special knowledge, or sectors or industries. So think about the industries that you would like to work in. Maybe some of these will be the industries or fields that you are already experienced at. For example, I applied this. I chose education because I'm already in education sector. Right? I also put media because I love the media sector and what is going on in the media sector. It is one of my deep interests. So if you are deeply interested in any of these sectors, you can write them down. You can also put things that are not on the list here, that are not on the table. For example, I have put content creation here. It is not on the table, but I think it is one of the most promising future sectors in the next decade or so. Content creation I think, it is one of the most prestigious and promising jobs of the future. So like all of us, whatever our profession is, I think we will be content creators in the future. So that's why I have put content creation as the field here. So you can come up with your own ideas and put them down as well. Again, you might want to write a sentence or two, to explain your choices. You can overwrite and write down your choices. Please try to wrap it up in the next 30 seconds or so. If you are done with your choices, please also add a sentence or two to explain your choices. Why did you choose these ones? Okay, let's continue with the last part. Transferable skills. This is the 7th pedal, the last one. There's a very large table here. I want you to think about your strengths. Which skills are your most powerful skills? I want you to choose 10 to 12 of these skills in this huge table. Write 10 to 12 skills from the table here. Make your list here. So in order to do this, one way to think about it might be, you might want to think back about when did you feel, let's say, really powerful, really strong? When did you feel really happy and productive? What were you doing? Like perhaps you were challenging yourself. You were doing like a project that you loved doing. Which skills were you using when you were like super successful and super effective and productive? Which skills were you really using? Like, try to find your strengths, your best strengths, and choose them and make a list, please. You can choose them from the table. Or if it is not on the table, you can come up with your own. So first, let's go over the table. And see which ones are your strengths. Write them down. So I'm looking at the chat box now. Philippa asked a question. Could you just clarify how many of these seminar exercises? You will include all 8 of the seminar activities, Philippa. So there are 8 seminars and 8 activities. You will be including all of them. Harry, does this have to be linked to the job you have that we designed the CV for? No, it doesn't. Harry, this is about your ideal job exercise. It doesn't have to be directly linked to your job application, because in the job application you have chosen a job which was available, and it might not be necessarily your ideal job, but you have had to practically choose that, for example. So don't worry about linking it. This is a separate exercise. If I choose option 2, do I still have to finish the flower chart? What do you mean option 2, Ashley? Do you mean seminar 8 activities? Seminar 8 is separate. So this is seminar 7. We will continue with other options, and I will introduce you the options later on. But that is seminar 8 activity. We haven't started it yet. So let's focus on this seminar 7 activity. You need to do this flower chart. Yes, it is your seminar 7 activity. Do you mean the 2 options? Okay, it is the same thing, Ashley. So thank you for your clarification. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Option 2 is just you type in, yeah, the flower exercise. Option 1 is you type in the flower itself, yeah? So whichever option you choose, you can do either of them, okay? Just do one of them. I thought I designed option 2 because I thought it might be easier for you to just type up in a Word document, you know. But feel free to choose whichever one. But do it just once, okay? So what matters is to do the flower exercise, apply it, that's it. Okay, now please choose your skills from this table, write them down, and reflect on your strengths. When you finish your list, ask yourself, is there a pattern here? What type of skills? Can you combine them and think of some ideal jobs that will be good for you, perhaps, or projects? What type of jobs or projects do these skills entail? Ask yourself, those type of questions to really reflect on your strengths and how can you best use these strengths. Because amplifying your strengths and using them at work, it is very important for your career success. You can be widely successful if you really can build your career on these strengths. So be aware of these strengths and amplify them. Yeah, you will need to put the flower in the coursework book. Just put the handout, you can either type in the flower, just like in option 1, or you can just submit option 2, just the Word document itself, as you wish. That will be your Seminar 7 activity. Okay, let's finalize this strengths section. Now, what I want from you is I will be putting you into teams. What did you learn from this flower exercise? Think about it. Did you realize anything new? Did you realize anything that you didn't realize before? Did you learn something fresh, something new? Think about it and share one thing with one another. Try to share what you learned in 1 minute or less with one another, okay? So let's kickstart the teamwork now. Let's discuss. What did you learn from the flower exercise? please try to wrap up. Okay, so sorry for cutting you off and cutting your discussions. I mean, I didn't see too much action going on and in the group, so I decided to cut it a bit short. So let's continue with seminar 8 activity. You will be choosing one of the options in this activity, and I will give you all the options. This one is optional in the sense that you will be choosing among the options, but you still need to do one of them, okay? So please choose one of these. I will go over each activity, and please try to decide which one is for you, okay? Option 1, in this one, you will design your own logo. So how do you do that? This will be your personal logo, okay? So first you will think about different concepts for your logo. You will think about symbols that convey the essence of you. It can be represent something, or it can be something abstract. The symbol needs to be meaningful to you. And then you will take 1 minute to identify your favorite concepts. Let's say, as you can see here, feather, smile, fire, lion, twirls, long hair, etc., jumping, exclamation sound, all these alternatives, like draw these or think about these. Which ones best represent you, your personal brand, let's say, and who you are? Go with your gut feeling, choose 2 to 3 of them, write for a few moments, discuss your concepts, and then make your decision. Which concept describes you better in the best way, let's say? Let's say feather. And you come up with different designs. Can you sketch different designs for the same concept? Normally, there shouldn't be any words or letters in logo itself, they say, but I don't believe in this. You can put words or letters if you want in your personal logo. Feel free to try different designs, colors, actions, etc. And then you will choose a design that you like best. Let's say this feather design. You just improvise it, finalize it, take 3 minutes to draw it in details. You can do this digitally or draw with your hand and then take a photo. Explain why you chose this logo. And if you're not happy, then spend more time on it. Stop when you are 80% happy. That's fine, okay? So if you want to do this option, then please include the following. 1, the process of your logo creation. If you have some sketches, prototypes, show us how you engaged in this process, okay? Number 1. Number 2, describe the logo. What does it represent? Why have you chosen this symbol, this logo? Number 3, how is this logo linked to your values and to your personal brand? Please try to explain. If you have a personal story, let's say, to illustrate, you can use a story as well. Number 4, finalize your personal logo. And number 5, if you want, you can also include a motto or a slogan. Okay, so if you choose this option, I mean, it's a great fun. If you like design and creativity, I think like this is like a game. You can play it and come up with your own personal logo. Okay, so is this option for you? Think about it. Yes or no? Is it a good option? Think about it. And let me go with the next option. Option 2 is taken from this book. This is a bestseller book. It is a self-coaching book by Ginny Ditzler. It is called Your Best Year Yet. 10 questions for making the next 12 months most successful ever. So there are 10 questions in this book. You will be responding to each of them in 1 or 2 sentences. Okay. So do this project if you want to think about your past year, 2020, and then you want to think about the year forward, 2021. How do you want to spend your next year? What are your goals? How do you like to make your transition, let's say? So you can respond to each of these questions. What did you accomplish during 2020? What were your disappointments? What did you learn? How can you limit yourself and how can you stop this? And what are your values? What are your roles? Which role will you be focusing on the next year? What are your goals for the next year? Formulate your top 10 goals and how can you make sure that you achieve them? How will you build a system? Okay, so these are the questions. You will be responding to these in 1 or 2 sentences, short responses are fine. Choose this option if you want to think about the year ahead of you and, make a transition, coach yourself, mentor yourself. Okay, so this is option 2. Please make your decision. Do you like this option? Let's continue with option 3 now. Option 3 is to create a table of role models with a few sentences of why they are your role models and what you can learn from them. Like, do you have any role models in your life? You can analyze it in a table. This is option number 3. If you choose this option, please come up with 5 to 6 role models.
I can't because
choose
he's just
5
told
to 6
me
different
that we
role
have
models.
so much work to do.
And put them into a table. This can be just like the self-directed learning table. Okay. Like, who are your role models? And what can you learn from them? These might be, let's say, entrepreneurs, celebrities, sports people, leaders, your parents. So if you choose option number 3, come up with 5 role models, okay? 5 to 6 role models. And you will turn them into a table. Is this clear? Option number 3. Please make your decision again. Would you like to choose this option? Okay, let's continue with option number 4. Option number 4 is about your job applications. If you want to keep track of your job applications, then you will create a table of the potential firms and job positions that you will be applying for in the next year or so. Okay, so you will turn this into a table. You will include 5 to 6 positions and firms. Which companies and positions will you be applying for? You will do research about these companies, positions, reflect on why you are a good fit. Are there any activities or things that you can do to improve your chances and to prove that you are a good candidate, you are a good fit? Okay, so identify some action points. Keep track of your job applications. So this is option number 4. You can choose option 4 if you really want to apply for multiple jobs in the upcoming months and you want to keep track of them. You want to follow and keep track of it. So this will help you to establish a system for keeping track of everything. You can also put, the requirements, deadlines, etc. What you need to do, how best you can prepare, etc. Okay, so this is option number 4. Please make your decision. Do you like this option? Do you want to do? Option number 5 is the SWOT analysis. You already know the SWOT analysis, but you will apply this analysis based on the job application process. That means you will evaluate yourself based on a strategic view of yourself and your career and yourself as a job candidate. Let's say you are applying for jobs, next year or this year. What are your strengths? You make a list of your strengths first. And what are your weaknesses as a job candidate? Make a list of your weaknesses. How can you overcome them? And then you focus on opportunities and threats, which is the environmental analysis. Think about the job market. We are in the midst of a pandemic, right? Economic depression. There are lots of threats. It's easy to think about these threats. How can you survive and thrive in the middle of these threats? Are there any opportunities that you can use in the middle of all of this, let's say? So you will apply the SWOT analysis and turn it into a table, okay? What are your strengths and weaknesses? That's the internal analysis. Look at yourself as a job candidate. And what are opportunities and threats in the next 2 years, let's say? This is the external analysis, the environmental analysis. Okay, so this is option number 5, SWOT analysis. Is this clear? This is option number 5. Please decide, do you want to do this, option 5? Okay, and the last option is, I just created this, from scratch actually, just yesterday. If you choose this option, I wanted to include like a wild option. Option number 6 is you will imagine, design and create your own Netflix show. Okay? So this can be a drama, documentary, reality show, or any other format. Essentially, if you choose this option, you will create your own Netflix show. If you want to continue to show business, let's say, and you have some really good ideas, wild ideas, you can just share them. How will you make this happen? Think about the scenario or the format, etc. Okay, so this will be like initial planning, designing, imagination document, like an initial proposal of some sort. Okay, so these are the 6 options. Are you clear about each of these options? Now, I want you, exactly, Toby, yes, that's the flower diagram. You will do the flower diagram, flower exercise, which will be seminar 7. And for seminar 8, you will choose among these 6 options. You will do just one of them, okay? So please decide which option you will be choosing for seminar, okay? So please make your decision now. Yeah, that's option number 1, Tsunaki. If you choose person logo table, you can do that. Yeah? And if you do that, like you don't need to worry about the other options. You just choose one of them. So which one will you be choosing? I want you to make your decision now. Personal logo table, 10 responses, self-coaching, table of role models, table of potential firms and job positions that you will be applying for, SWOT analysis of yourself and your career, or creating your own Netflix show. So please make your decision. And after you make your decision, perhaps start creating some ideas. Capture your ideas, write them down. Do you have any ideas on how to do this? Perhaps you can put together some ideas. Okay, now I want you to discuss your choices. Which one did you choose and why? Please discuss it in teams. So which one did you choose? Which option did you choose and why? Please discuss. If you can talk, please try to talk to each other. If you cannot, please type up.